All right, welcome guys to another episode of We're Talking Sports, and we're in like a sauna right now. It's like, I mean, it's got to be at least 90 in here.
We should bring a thermometer.
It's super hot, but we said last time this was going to be the last time we were here.
Yeah,
and we're back here.
We didn't lie. We just
and everything that could go wrong did go wrong last time.
Yeah.
We did get the audio recording, but we didn't get the camera. Now I think it's working. I'm going to look real stupid if it's not working. Or I'm going to sound real stupid. But we're here. A lot to talk about. NBA playoffs. They announced who was on the cover of Madden.
Yep.
Clearly whoever is doing Madden is a big Pats fan.
Yeah.
2 Patriots in a row.
Yeah.
Has that ever happened to team? I don't
think so. I'm just going to pray that this game is better than last year's. But
right, it seems like Madden, they're going more towards trying to get new people,
right,
the casual fans.
Well, and not only that, but I think especially with just the way video games are going. When obviously us growing up, you couldn't play PS1 or PS2 online, so that's kind of the direction that a lot of video games are going.
Oh, for sure, and they're doing the Ultimate Team. That's kind of the big thing now.
And so games are geared more towards online play. Which is kind of unfortunate because I think there's more people that have grown up without online play than have grown up with online play. So a lot of people are upset, but as long as they continue to sell, they're not going to care.
Exactly.
But let's just hope that this year's game is a little bit better than last year's was.
How's it take Brady 17 seasons to get on the cover of Madden?
Well, and I think usually it's just based on whoever just had a hot year. It's not necessarily the MVP or the Super Bowl winner or anything.
Well, and it's kind of think about it, it's kind of guys who you want to play as in Madden. Look at the quarterbacks. Vince Young, Donovan McNabb, Michael Vick, all running quarterbacks.
Right. Yeah.
And I mean, I feel like Michael Vick is like the most played guy on
Michael Vick on the game that he was the cover for might be arguably the best player in the history of the video game. Of Madden.
Right. Everybody, everybody wanted to play as Michael Vick. And, I mean, that in 2008 when Vince Young was on the cover, he was awesome too.
Yeah. And, it's not as if people don't want to play as Brett Favre, the gunslinger, so put Favre on the cover.
Dante Culpepper, another guy.
Right.
Another mobile quarterback.
Right. And I think, when you look at it, it's just, it also has an impact on, what they're trying to do for that season.
Right.
So, when the hit stick came out, Ray Lewis was on the cover, obviously trying to drive up the idea of defense. You can hit stick now and force fumbles and things like that. And then I believe it was Donovan McNabb was on the cover when they introduced the quarterback tunnel vision thing that they've taken out already.
See, I liked that.
I did too. I didn't mind it.
And then when they did the trucking with the running back, they had Sean Alexander on the cover.
So I think, that has a lot to do with it too. So maybe this year, and obviously with the way that the league is going, I think last year, was it 2 years ago when Gronk and Jimmy Graham both went off 2 years ago, which kind of led to Gronk, or the new tight end being the cover, and now obviously this year you're probably seeing a lot more towards quarterbacks.
And it's called GOAT Edition.
Yes.
Do you think, my theory is I think they're going to do like a story mode almost with a player, kind of like they do in 2K.
Yeah,
I feel like they're headed towards that.
Yeah, I don't think it would be a bad idea. I mean, I've been a big fan of 2K. I personally like 2K quite a bit. I don't think it would be a bad thing for them to maybe steal some ideas from them.
To me, 2K is the best sports game. Hockey's up there. Okay. I like hockey. A lot of people like MLB 2K.
I like.
Or is it the show?
It's the show.
It's the show now.
To me, that's the best sports game.
But it's limited because it's only on PlayStation.
Right. So that hurts it. But to your point, I think when you have sports games and like you said with basketball, you have My Player, and baseball, you have Road to the Show. You used to have that with Madden when you had the NCAA football game that went with it, and you could import your player or you could import draft classes and do things like that.
I don't know how many people did that though.
I don't, but I mean it was an option.
It was an option,
back then, and I think now with a lot of people really enjoying that part of NBA 2K, it's something that possibly, like you said, could be looked at being added in or brought back.
And even, I mean, you know it as much as I do playing the show now that they kind of brought in those aspects of the story mode where you have the interactions with the manager now and you have the interactions with fans and other players, and it gives you certain moments. Like if you have a great game, your manager recognizes you, whereas in the past it was just play the game, boost your stats, go through the 162
and 2K, has come so far. With now, you're even doing post-game press conferences. If you're the player of the game, you're getting interviewed.
You get like two options.
Right? But that was never a thing before. And Madden, I think, started that when you used to have the team newspaper and the radio station.
Oh my gosh, yeah,
and all that good stuff. But moving on to, I guess, reality sport here. An interesting topic. I know, Ben, you're not a big baseball fan, so maybe something that could get you interested.
Okay.
So this year, some of the top prospects that are going to be entering this year's Major League Baseball draft, along with the top player coming out of Japan, play multiple positions. Do you think that, and when I say multiple positions, I mean they're a pitcher and a field player. Do you think that that is something, as a non-diehard baseball fan, would be something intriguing that might interest you in going to a game? Because in high school, pitchers usually play other positions, and then as a reliever, you just kind of got to shuffle the board. The top two prospects are both pitchers and a first baseman and shortstop, and the guy from Japan is a pitcher, and I'm not sure what position he plays, but they all hit for power, and they're all throwing 95 to 100. Is that something that you think would bring in outside fans to see guys? Maybe you want to see this pitcher, but if he's a legit shortstop too, you don't yank him from the game and you just switch him positions.
I don't see why that would make it any better. I mean, just a guy that plays multiple positions. I'd be curious to see like a pitcher who's a really good hitter.
Yeah, and I think that's got a lot to do with it too.
Right. I mean, and when you think of a pitcher who's a really good hitter, you think of Babe Ruth.
Yes.
And then eventually, they decided, you know what? Why don't we just move Ruth to outfielder or whatever? And that's really when he kind of went off and took the home run record. But I don't know, that it doesn't make it any more intriguing. And I understand. Just going back to baseball, like I'm not a fan of watching baseball.
Right.
I understand why some people are. Don't get me wrong, but it's just not the sport. Having something like that, it's not gonna. I'm not gonna jump right in.
Right. No. I got you. Do you think guys would be better off playing two positions?
I don't think it'll happen.
No.
Regardless, everything I've read, a lot of people say that being a starting pitcher in the MLB. I mean, I pitched for a long time, and I understand these people are MLB pitchers are at a much higher level, and they take care of their body and all this stuff. And everybody says they need those 5 days to recover. I don't think that's necessarily true.
Right.
But I think because baseball is such a stubborn governing body in sport that you won't see these two particular players. 25 years down the road, maybe, but not now.
Right.
They say they need those 5 days. They say to perform at a high level, you can't go out there and pitch one day and then play shortstop the next 4 days and then pitch again without getting in your bullpens and getting in everything else that you need. And whether that's true or not, I don't know, because you go to the postseason and guys like Kershaw and
they're pitching every 3 days,
and Arrieta are pitching on 2 days rest, pitching the third day, and they're pitching just as well as they did 2 days ago. And is that sustainable over a whole season? It was in the 40s, 50s, and 60s.
Right.
Because those guys started every other day, and Cy Young won 511 games. Nobody else is going to come close to 400.
Right.
So it's all guys are looking out for themselves more now.
Yeah.
And the Japanese guy really wants to play both ways, but I don't think the team will let him.
Right.
Both of them are going to end up on the mound. I'll just tell you that now because people value pitchers much more than they do bats.
Well, and from a selfish standpoint, if he wants to make a lot of money, he's better off almost becoming a pitcher because you can pitch. Most pitchers last a little bit longer than the everyday players, and depending upon which arm he throws with, you're guaranteed to make more money than you are other guys in the league as well. So working the other day at Miller Park, this is going to be an open sport question. So every sport, I just happened to see it because I was at work, and the Brewers are starting to give the All-Star push a little bit because the ballots have officially opened for Major League Baseball. So all 9, or I shouldn't say all 9, 8 of the guys are nominated per team, every team, and then that's the same for the Pro Bowl and the NBA playoffs. Every guy gets that chance to be nominated. Do you think that should be the case? Should every guy be on the ballot, or should it be, a couple years ago when we almost had the entire Golden State Warriors team end up starting, Zaza Pachulia is not a realistic starter in the All-Star game. Should he be on the ballot just because he's a player, or should they kind of make it so hey, okay, for the Brewers, realistically, the Brewers only have 2 or 3 guys that have a realistic chance of making it based on their record. Why nominate all 9? Why nominate all 8 guys?
Equal opportunity.
So even a guy that might be hitting, or a guy that like a Yao Ming who's hurting out the whole year gets voted a starter because he has a huge following.
Well, that's a whole that's fan vote.
But that's who picks the starters for every All-Star game.
I think it should be equal opportunity. That's just.
I mean, so just example for the Brewers. Thames, starting tomorrow, could hit $130 for the next 2 months.
Could.
Does he deserve to be an All-Star then? No.
Right.
But is he going to be an All-Star?
Probably.
Yes.
Yeah.
Whereas VR, who's hitting $197 right now, could hit $400 for the next 2 months, and he's still not going to be an All-Star.
Right.
So I think that's why you have to keep everybody on the ballot, because there's baseball. I think out of all sports, baseball is the sport where you go on tears where you're unbelievable.
Right.
And then you go through the lowest of lows.
No, I agree. But I mean, even when you look at other sports like a basketball, maybe a guy who's just using Zaza Pachulia here is the 5th guy on his team, and he just happens to be the starter because they need to put somebody at center.
Well, that was because he got a huge campaign from his country, his home country, Georgia.
Right.
Everybody, it wasn't Golden State Warriors bandwagon jumpers were voting for him.
I mean,
they were making a big campaign. Yeah. It was the same thing last year when he played for the Mavericks. He was the next person to start at center. So I don't like the fan vote. Anyway, I think they should get rid of that. I think it should be coaches, players, and the media.
Should a guy who gets hurt be taken off the ballot?
There should be a certain, a minimum game amount.
Yeah, because I remember I don't remember the year, but Yao Ming, I think, was out for the whole season.
And Allen Iverson, too.
Right. And I believe Kobe was the same way as well.
Right.
And that's, I think that's, what, in some situations,
I think that's where you cross the line.
Is what waters it down.
But so using Pachulia, for example, we might not see that as a good thing, but the NBA probably sees that as an opportunity to grow the game. If the whole country is behind him, and you can get Eastern Europe, who might not pay attention to the All-Star game otherwise.
Right. And just, I want to point this out. I'm not saying that Giannis didn't deserve to start. Right. But, he's playing for a low-market team, the Bucks. Is it possible that he got a huge push from his home country?
That's very possible. And like you said, whether he deserved to start or not, I think he was going regardless.
Yeah.
Whether he was a bench, but
right. Who's to say Isaiah shouldn't have gotten it?
Right.
What if it was? I'm curious. What if it was just America voting?
Yeah, I don't know what would.
I think you'd see it very. I think you would see LeBron James. It would be Kyrie Irving.
It would be the band. I think you would have more impact from bandwagon fans than you would. Necessarily a certain.
So in the West, it would have been Durant, Thompson, and Curry, and Green starting, and then somebody else.
Forget about any of the Raptors. That's Toronto.
Right,
but in the East, I can almost guarantee that it would.
Well, that was something
James,
that
Irving,
we talked about with the East. What didn't Kyle Lowry ended up with?
DeRozan started.
DeRozan started instead of Isaiah. And that was one of the things that
was a bit of a stir.
That we talked about was whether or not who deserved to start. And
who's to say Dwayne Wade wouldn't have gotten in?
Right. It's one. Yeah, I think I'm just on the bandwagon with you. I think the fan vote is just it's an awful situation for everybody. Because some guys just follow their own team and don't necessarily care about the rest of the league.
Right. No, I remember when I was in high school, when I voted the 5 starters for the Mavericks.
Yeah.
Yeah. There is no fixing the Pro Bowl.
No fixing the Pro Bowl?
No fixing the Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
Too many guys don't want to play it, so it doesn't matter.
Right. Yeah, that's...
My issue with the Pro Bowl is when you look at when you go on somebody's Wikipedia page, they're going to say, 5-time Pro Bowl selection. Right. Well, 3 of them might have been he was the 5th reserve.
Right.
Because,
Now, not to say that this is the right thing here, or just an idea out there. Instead of maybe the Pro Bowl game, do you think they would have better attendance? Maybe it's instead of a Pro Bowl game, it's a Rising Stars.
Well, that's kind of how they were advertising it. Kind of old school meets new school, kind of. And they had Dak Prescott and all the commercials, Zeke Elliott. I think we talked about this before. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, having a lot of maybe you got to be 5 years and under because some guys don't reach that peak or that position until year 3, 4, 5 based on for whatever reason.
Right, but at the same time, I feel like the Pro Bowl for a lot of people, it's like people like Drew Brees and Phillip Rivers. They went. That's kind of like their end of season thanks for being in the NFL kind of.
No, yeah, it's
their reward, and people like them enjoy it. Whereas Rodgers and Brady
usually doesn't play.
Don't.
Right.
It will probably never happen. But is this something that I think timing is the biggest issue?
Oh, I hate it the week before the Super Bowl.
Not that.
The Super Bowl teams aren't allowed to participate.
I think I don't think it'll ever happen. But if you say you put it at week 9. And you play it as still the exhibition game, but it's a bye week for everybody.
Nobody would do it. Nobody would play.
Nobody plays in it anyway.
But I think you would get even less people that play because
you have to give them.
You'd be getting Matt Flynn as one of the.
And I think now that
if you look though, they're the only league that is not in season.
Okay, right. But here's the thing: with football being a contact sport that has so much impact.
Hockey's not.
How many do a lot of guys withdraw from the hockey?
Every single person that gets into the hockey All-Star game plays in the hockey All-Star game.
Is it like the NBA All-Star game?
There's not as much defense, but guys still play 3-on-3. They don't play 5-on-5.
So it's like the NBA All-Star game, where really there's just guys just go out there.
So many more people get hurt.
The Pro Bowl is already.
No, I know, but being the end of the season, some guys don't want to do it. But during the season, if you make it during the middle of the season, with there being, think about it, baseball is 162 games. How many hockey games are there?
82.
And there's how many basketball games?
82.
16 football games.
Yeah.
I think that is...
You get at least 5 concussions and 2 or 3 torn ACL every week in the NFL.
I think that is going to be the reason why guys aren't going to play. It's 16 games. Yeah. Every game matters to them. Whereas in the NBA, you see guys rest. Or
if I were a team owner, I would tell my guys, no, you're not playing.
Right. I probably
no way.
I guess my question is, how many guys got hurt in the Pro Bowl last year?
It doesn't matter because it just... But, look at Tyler Eifert.
Here's the thing. If, let's say, somebody makes the Pro Bowl, he twists an ankle, 2 weeks, whatever. So he misses OTAs, whatever, If you're in week 9 and a guy tears whatever in the Pro Bowl, and now you lose him for the rest of the season, now your whole mindset is, I'm not letting anybody play because I'm not going to lose a star for the rest of the year.
You can say that about any single football organized activity.
No, I agree. Look at Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah, he's out and he might not ever play again.
Right.
To me, it's the same thing as college bowl games. And kids that don't play in bowl games are...
Now,
that's a mistake.
An interesting aspect of the bowl game, I saw an interview with somebody that, I don't remember who exactly said it, but the way he said it was, the way that Christian McCaffrey and Leonard Fournette handled that situation was perfect. Because if they don't want to be there, the only thing that they are to their team is a distraction. So instead of being a distraction, they remove themselves from the situation and allow their team to be 100% focused and go to that game at 100%. Now, obviously losing Leonard Fournette and Christian McCaffrey is a huge blow to both LSU and Stanford.
But it wasn't a college football game.
The bowl game. No. They're their seasonal bowl game.
Right. Say Stanford made the college football playoff.
Christian McCaffrey's definitely playing.
Yeah.
Right. So I think in that retrospect, I understand. Because the guy even said, he goes, if it's a college football, he goes, it doesn't matter who you are. They're going to play because of the magnitude of that game. Now, if you're at a second-level bowl game where, you know what, hey, I don't want to be a distraction to my team. I just want to focus on moving on. I don't think it matters as much
LSU's season ended after the first week,
right?
Pretty much.
Yeah, and then I mean, they got hot at the end, but it's one. And I honestly think now that Major League Baseball All-Star Game doesn't mean anything, I think you're going to see more and more guys withdraw. I don't think you're going to see as many guys play.
You play 2 innings. You play 2 or 3 innings.
Yeah, but I mean,
it's like the Pro Bowl. I think the first timers will go and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, the young guys will experience it.
Right.
I mean, if you've been there 2 or 3 times, what's the point? I mean, take the day off. You know,
and you'll still get the All-Star recognition. So to speak.
Yeah, I mean, you'll still have the home run derby.
It depends on the person. Mike Trout's not going to say no. I'm not going to play in the All-Star game.
No, a
guy like Manny Ramirez, who's lazy anyways, said no to playing in the All-Star game. I think a lot of it depends on if you know what your worth is to your league. So Mike Trout, Chris Bryant, Anthony Rizzo, all those guys that are the faces of baseball. Nolan Arenado.
But we're talking. I mean, but like Ben said, you're talking about young guys. Those guys are all under 26
Trout's
years
already
old.
Been there 5 times.
No. I know, but like a Ryan Braun. Braun might not necessarily play. He'll go and show his face and maybe do the home run derby. But what does Braun gain by playing? He's not the face of baseball. He's not.
I don't even know how many people like Braun.
You know what I mean? But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
An older guy like that is probably. I think we're going to start to see guys pull out of the baseball All-Star game because it no longer means anything. Whereas when it used to be, hey, the winner gets home field advantage. I think guys are out there playing their tails off because if their team has a legitimate shot for the World Series, you want Game 7 at your house, you know, and maybe that's an issue with the All-Star game, but a lot of people don't like that aspect where if the winner, if the NL or the AFL or the AFC, right, were to win and host it in an AFC stadium or whatever, it doesn't. It's so hard to do that. I don't. It's a flawed system in reality.
Is, yeah.
But sticking with the NFL, some successful and not so successful reinstatements yesterday. Darrell Washington being reinstated for the Arizona Cardinals,
and he's now a free agent. And Josh Gordon was denied his reinstatement.
That was surprising. And it can reapply in September or August or September. But like I said, denied. Yeah. What's your take on the decision?
For Josh I was surprised because I feel like when anybody, asks for reinstatement, they usually get
it. Right.
I mean, maybe, I feel like Goodell or whoever makes that decision is just, tired of this guy keep getting suspended and asking for reinstatement.
Right.
I mean, clearly he's not learning his lesson.
Yeah.
Why was he was reinstated last year and he was never he wasn't suspended?
He was reinstated. Yeah, he was. I believe he was suspended by the
suspended.
Team.
Yeah,
but he wasn't. It's not like he did not fail another drug test. He personally put himself
in rehab.
So why does that make him not eligible to play?
I'm not.
That's where there's something we don't know.
That's what I'm confused about because he was eligible last year before he decided I'm not ready.
Right. And maybe that was his decision that he had to step away. To me, the only thing that I can think of. Josh Gordon has only been suspended for one reason and one reason only. That's the failed drug tests. It's not like the situation going on with Randy Gregory, who apparently failed 8 drug tests.
Right.
He will probably never see the field again. Greg Hardy, as we see, and Ray Rice both have essentially been banished from the NFL. I think this is a situation where maybe they denied him because if he does fail another test, how do you punish him besides banning him for life? What is
lifetime ban? Lifetime ban's got to be the next step.
Right. He's been suspended 2 full seasons.
It's pretty much what Justin Blackmon has.
Right. Same thing. And the only person that I can think of compared to, but maybe didn't even take it to that level was Ricky Williams, who played a lot of his career and then started to get suspended. And then was able to, for whatever reason,
kind of made a comeback.
Made a huge comeback, and then played another couple of years, and then settled down. But I don't think Ricky Williams got a full year suspension. I think is the difference.
I just think the NFL is
using him as a.
No, I just think they're sick of it. They're just
Yeah.
tired of dealing with all this stuff.
Yeah,
Last time we reinstated you just did the same thing.
Right.
I mean,
right.
I'm just looking at Blackman to see if
I think Blackman's was alcohol, I believe.
DUI. I think it was
DUI.
drugs and then
yeah,
alcohol.
he's-
He had to go to jail.
Okay.
I think they suspended his sentence, but he was ordered to a year in jail in August. He has to do a year of probation, fine $1,000, and all like that's going to
hurt him. But
and 100
Yeah.
community
Yeah,
service hours. But
I think you're heading down the right road, Ben. I think you know this year has just been so. I mean, I shouldn't say this year. The last couple of years have been so crazy with NFL guys getting in trouble for this and in trouble for that, and maybe like you said, Roger Goodell's just okay. Boom.
Yeah.
Here we go.
So I just did a project in class on the NFL and their issues off the field, and there's been, I want to say it's like 840 arrests since 2001. But just like since 2010, with domestic violence being the biggest one, they've had 35 guys. And I mean, there's been, 4 since the beginning of this year?
Domestic
3 or 4?
violence?
Yeah, from the guys that have been...
So are we talking like not Joe Mixon and
well, no,
guys?
but the guy from the Niners was cut.
Okay. Oh, yeah, Ray McDonald.
Yeah, and there's been other incidents of, I mean, Ezekiel Elliott's in a constant flux of
and that was
sexual assault.
And that was Des
domestic
Bryant
violence.
too. When Des Bryant first got into the NFL, who is now because he plays for the Cowboys. Obviously, I don't like the Cowboys, but as a great talent, thankful that I get to see him play. That he has turned his life around. Not only good for him, but good for the league, good for that team. Good for his whole brand, so to speak. Because he is a great player, and you hope Elliott can follow that same suit. But yeah, it just seems like, and the problem is there's no draw the line, because how do you know what's real and what's not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
it really is difficult.
When you're living in the public eye.
Right.
And another guy who still hasn't been signed, but has found his way out of the news, is Colin Kaepernick, who has kind of found his way back into the news because now teams aren't signing him. Do you think that it's specifically related to that issue, or is it because he's a certain system guy and nobody runs that system?
See, I was kind of thinking that, but at the same time, I mean, just all that stuff is almost like a cherry on top.
Yeah.
Why deal with all that stuff? Yeah. I mean, why not just get EJ Manuel, which the Raiders did,
Right.
But I did hear he has interest in, or three teams have interest.
Yep.
I mean, and there are teams. I mean, I was talking about it with someone. I feel like he's going to go to the Seahawks.
Okay.
Because, I mean...
Similar to Russell Wilson.
Right, similar to Russell Wilson, and look at their backup, Trayvon Boykin. He's in trouble now with the DUI.
Yeah.
And, I feel like, there's that old Seahawks 49ers rivalry. I wouldn't call it old, like 4 years old or something like that. But, I mean, I feel like there's a certain bit of respect there.
Yeah, I know. I would agree with you. And it's, this is a talented kid.
Absolutely.
I mean, he's got a rocket of an arm. The accuracy, maybe you can boost that up a little bit. But the athleticism, I mean, I remember watching him in, 2 straight years against the Packers. He just...
That first playoff game...
was unreal. I mean, that was his coming out party.
Unbelievable.
And he was phenomenal for that 1.5, 2 year stretch.
I think that's still the record for most rushing yards for a quarterback in... I think ever.
In the playoffs. Or
I think in any game.
That is very...
For the playoffs, for sure, but it may have been
that is very possible. But again, this is a guy who's talented, but he is now faded out of the news. But as soon as a team signs him, the media is going to find a reason to bring up last year's national anthem, even though, that's gone and done away with, and he wants to move on. He's been doing things to help out communities. We want to move on,
a lot.
But again, the media, I think, is going to put a martyr on whoever signs him, and unfortunately, I think that's keeping teams away.
I mean, it's the Tim Tebow effect. He's always
who is doing very good in the minor leagues, by the way.
Right,
almost up to 300.
But he's always going to get attention no matter what. If Johnny Manziel somehow signs somebody, he's going to get more attention than probably whoever the starting quarterback is.
Right.
It's it's unfortunate just because it's unneeded attention.
Right.
We've moved on, like you said with Cap. I hope he gets signed.
Yeah, I do.
Even though I don't really like him.
I don't like him either. But his best year was the year he completed the lowest percentage of passes.
That's what I mean. He
in
has
terms of win-loss record.
He was. I mean, he perfected.
They were
pistol.
12-4 in 2013. He only
Right.
completed 58% of passes.
Right. That's what I said. The accuracy, is an issue. But
I think
he has a very strong arm, and he is super athletic.
I mean, I know the Niners aren't a good team right now,
Right.
but for him to go 1-10 last year, I think might have. Some guys are just winners, and it doesn't matter what they do on the field. They find a way to win. Rodgers can have a terrible game, and most of the time he'll find a way to win.
Yeah.
And the same thing can be said about Brady and Manning, and even Russell Wilson. I mean, guys like that. But Kaepernick, outside of that year, he's under 500 as a quarterback.
Right. Yeah. He needs to be surrounded, and he is a certain style, quarterback. Where, like you said, with Seattle would be a good fit. And I think even with what Tennessee is starting to do with Mariota, maybe even the Titans could be a team that reaches out,
possible,
or a team like Carolina that runs a system that's very similar to that. I'm not sure who the three teams are, but those are the ones that come to mind. And I mean, just for the sake of, I mean, if you run that style of system and you need a backup quarterback, I don't know why you don't.
Well, and he'd be great for a scout team.
Absolutely, especially if you're a Green Bay and you're trying to get ready for Seattle or Carolina, that is a guy that you can say, hey, go run the scout team because we need to get ready for Russ or Cam,
right,
or something like that.
And something like, I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but that year that they went 12-4,
right?
I don't know if they were top 10 in the league in offense. Top
was that
20,
the year that
top
Alex
30.
Smith started the season?
No, that's the year after. So he went 5-2 the year he relieved Smith.
Right.
He was 12-4 the year after that, and then he's been like 8-8, 2-14, and 1-10. So I don't know. Like that year in 2013 when they went 12-4, the Niners defense was unbelievable.
Oh yeah.
So that's just my question: is how many points that has he translated to offensively for his team?
But the same can be said about Russell Wilson. I mean, every year Seattle's
I
defense
think Russell Wilson
right.
is not a top 5 quarterback in the league because he can't win you games by himself. He can occasionally, but it's not in every
week.
game.
Yeah. No, I would agree with you there. He's not a top 5 quarterback, but like you said, some guys just find ways to win, and some guys don't. And I think, to me, whether they're winning or losing, Russell Wilson finds a way to to win ball games.
He's got the winner's mentality.
I've never seen a team win more 9-6 in 3 games.
And the Seahawks.
Which you take a win any way you can get.
That's right. Speaking of wins, the San Antonio Spurs last night just handled business.
Yep.
Whether you want to say it's because James Harden was very, very awful. I saw him on a milk box carton this morning with a missing sign above it. The Spurs just find ways to win year after year. Tim Duncan retires. Tony Parker gets hurt. Kawhi Leonard sits out last night.
And it's an absolute shame that's what people take away from last night is, James Harden he gave up.
It doesn't matter.
Let's give the Spurs
they won by 30.
Some credit,
Yeah.
some credit here.
40.
LaMarcus Aldridge,
Yes.
not had a good season, but he's finally playing the way he should be.
Yes.
Manu Ginobili, oh my gosh, that block in Game 5,
Huge.
probably one of my favorite plays of all time. I love Manu, even though I'm a Mavs fan. And Danny Green's been doing great too. And to win without Kawhi and without Tony Parker is huge.
Yeah, and I think you got to throw Patty Mills in there too.
Yes.
Has stepped up since Tony Parker's gone down. This is a complete team. And at the beginning of the year, when we made our initial predictions, you picked Golden State and I picked the Spurs, and both of our guys, or both these teams, are going to meet in the Western Conference Finals. But this is what I liked about
there,
but this is what I truly liked about the Spurs is because no matter what, no matter who walks out there, no matter who is playing, they have a guy, Greg Popovich, in charge, who is always going to get these guys ready to play, and they play so well in that system that LaMarcus Aldridge, who has just been nowhere and non-existent, goes off when he needs to and when the spotlight is on. I mean, I don't know whether people and all over the news this morning is about James Harden going out last night. Just talk about the Spurs. I mean, this is incredible.
It really is. That's all you need to say.
I mean, I don't know how many times Houston scored below 100 points all year, but 3 times
were they under 80 last night?
Yeah, they had 75 last night, but 3 times in 6 games the Spurs held Houston under 100. From a team, I think that was second in the league,
second,
first
maybe
in the
behind
league,
Golden State, or
averaging like 115 points a game.
Yeah,
and
I think they were first.
I think they might have been first over Golden State, but so like they give up 126 game 1, lose by 30 points, come out, win the next game by 30. The Spurs win the next game by 30, hold the Rockets under 90 for games 2 and 3.
Yeah,
I mean they lose game 4 by 20, but win a hard-fought one in overtime, and then dominate without Kawhi.
Yeah. It was almost as if after Game 5, the Spurs kind of knew they had the foot on the throat and just said, we're just going to push it down.
It's a typical San Antonio series.
It is. It truly is. And this Western Conference matchup is going to be very, very intriguing. I think ultimately I'm going to be willing to say it would go. I would think it would go 7. I think it'll depend upon how good Kawhi can come back, coming off of the extra day's rest. But this matchup, Golden State versus San Antonio, I think could be one of the best matchups we've seen in a very long time with the way that these two teams are kind of coming together right now.
3:30 Sunday.
3:30 Sunday.
That's when it starts. Eastern time. So
we don't know the Eastern Conference Finals yet, but Boston, Washington tonight. What's your guys' take? Does Boston close it out? Is Washington? It's on the road.
Do they close it out? They haven't been within 30 points on the road yet.
Yeah, I think there will be a Game 7.
Game 7?
This series needs a Game 7. This has been the most boring 5 games I've seen.
Besides Kelly Oubre's wannabe tackle of Kelly Olynyk?
I don't think it'll be a 30-point blowout, but I don't know. The Wizards could be down. It could be just like Chicago in the first series. Obviously, the Wizards have better players than Chicago, but a lot of it has to do with that confidence, and I think the Celtics gained a lot of confidence by being able to finally blow out the Wizards. Because even at home over this season, the average margin was like 8 points, whereas the Wizards, every time they play the Celtics at home, won by an average, I think it's up to 22 now with the 2 blowouts they have in this playoff series. I think it's going to be a closer game. I don't know if they'll be able to pull it off because I think John Wall is just too
good at home.
Too good, and that Bradley Beal will actually show up.
And Oubre's back tonight, right?
He played last game, but he didn't do
Okay.
anything really.
Okay.
I think he had 9 points and 4 rebounds in 19 minutes or something.
Yeah, it'll be. I mean, unfortunately for either one of these teams, whoever ends up winning
will get swept.
Well, you're probably looking at getting.
Well, I don't know if they'll get swept. I called it getting swept, and you guys looked at me like I was crazy.
Who getting swept?
The Raptors.
Oh.
You go like, I don't think I was swept. Let's look back on the tape. No.
Yeah. we have that proof somewhere. But yeah, I mean, Cleveland is playing great right
and
now.
that's just the cat. Like everybody say, "Oh, I don't know." They're not.
And I keep seeing this thing.
Show up in the playoffs.
And I keep seeing this thing going around that when the regular season was winding down and Cleveland wasn't the 1 seed, the world was panicking, saying that, "Oh, the Cavs can't do it. They're not going to win." But yet now, because they're winning and sweeping everybody, the East just isn't good enough. Is apparently what a lot
Draymond Green makes a lot of big statements out there.
Everybody's jumping back on the bandwagon, getting out their LeBron jerseys.
That's right. Draymond Green it says a lot of things. We're not gonna.
He's gonna be the next Skip Bayless after he's done. After he's done playing in the NBA.
Skip Bayless.
No, we don't. One Skip Bayless is one too many for this world. But as we were talking about, I think before we went on air, the NBA Combine has kind of started.
Yeah.
A lot of top guys are not participating, which is kind of the opposite of the NFL draft, where a lot of guys want to go and compete.
Right.
the top stars sitting out. Kevin Durant came out and said that they should definitely skip the draft if you're a top player.
The combine.
Or, I'm sorry, yes, the combine. My apologies. Do you guys believe with Durant there?
I mean, the NBA combine definitely is nothing near the NFL combine.
Right.
Is like as importance. I mean, you're not going to be grading anybody's 40-yard dash. Probably the most important one is the vertical.
Right.
And that Diallo guy,
Yeah.
44.5 inches.
Yes.
I think he tied the highest ever. But, I mean, you're not going to hear much about the NBA combine. So, I think what means more to teams is the personal visits.
Yeah, and I think with some guys where you see a lot of stock going up, going down is the 5-on-5 games, which we expect guys not to participate in that.
Yeah.
So when they now. Obviously, they send out the invites, and those guys are invited. So, there was huge news when Lonzo Ball said he wasn't going. Do you think that maybe they should send out the invite, and if Fultz says, "Hey, I'm going to be there, but I'm only going to do interviews, and I'm not going to participate," that maybe they should say, "Okay, you're more than welcome to come, but now let's invite another guy who maybe is going to do the 5-on-5, and let's see if we can't get that person." And make maybe your invite list a little bigger. And not necessarily include the guys who are just going to come and interview, but have them still come and participate if that's what they're going to do.
I don't think the combine is meant for guys like Fultz or Ball or the guys that are going to be top 5. It's about the guys that are going to be picked from 40 to 60.
Yeah,
and that has a lot to do also with the NFL combine.
Yeah.
I mean, Shaquille Griffin was the perfect example. Picked in the 3rd round by the Seahawks. I mean, guy who was being talked about undrafted, he's now part of the Legion of Boom.
Yeah,
but I think it's the same thing. What was that?
I'm not
just construction going on.
Oh man,
yes.
But that to me, that's what the NBA combine is about. Those smaller school guys, not the one.
Well, and I think if for certain guys, let's say. I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but say the idea is, well, they have trouble shooting. Maybe that guy shows up and says, okay, hey, I'm going to do the shooting workouts this week just to show some consistency. Like you said, I think for the top with the way the NBA combine is set up, maybe for the top 5 guys,
we already have a good idea with the top 5,
right? But yeah, behind that, I think guys that maybe have a little inconsistency, or maybe a guy like a De'Aaron Fox who just absolutely manhandled Lonzo Ball. In the NCAA tournament.
People are going to want a closer look.
People are going to want a closer look, and maybe for him, he's got that chip on his shoulder that says, well, this guy's not going to show up. I'm going to come and ball out because I think I should be the number 1 point guard taken in this draft, not Lonzo Ball.
You know who I want to see is LeVar Ball. Let's get him in the combine.
We're going to have to deal with the Ball family for the next 4 years.
Wearing his $500 shoes, doing the vertical, doing the 5-on-5.
Averaging 2 points a game in 1980.
Hey, he was better than Michael Jordan. So,
anyways, we're going to move on to what Brett was talking about.
No, I just wanted. Do you know how many people get invited?
60.
It's 60 to the NBA combine.
Yeah. That also does.
How does a guy like Diallo?
Yeah.
How does a guy like Diallo end up
because of his projection? They think based off his athleticism that he could be a late first, early second.
A quote from one of the GMs about him. Somebody asked him, "What do you think of Diallo? Will he be a first rounder?" And he's like, "It's a crapshoot." And the reporter asked him, "You a crappy shooter?" He's like, "Well, yeah, that's probably too." So that's how Diallo is the guy, obviously, that's making headlines from the combine so far.
I think they should invite 100.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. What's the difference? I mean, you have.
I mean, the combine's 6 days or something like that for the NBA.
It lasts till Monday, and the lottery's on Tuesday.
And they can do so much more in such a short time than guys at the NFL because it's not like everybody's running together with the NFL. You know what I mean? And it's not like all the drills. With the NBA, I mean, you can have everybody run together. You can have everybody do the same exact drills over and over and over and over and over. Whereas with the NBA or the NFL, it's position by position because of the drills that you want to see guys do. I think maybe if they instead of using a practice squad, or a practice stadium in Illinois, I think it's the Bulls practice building that they use.
Yeah.
Maybe get into a bigger facility or a college facility,
or go to a complex where you have multiple courts.
Right.
Because right now they only have
The
one court, I believe.
And then they played the 5-on-5 games, and then you got guys just sitting around and things like.
And whether that be, I mean, just using Chicago as an example, you have where DePaul plays, you have where the D-League team plays, and I know they're not all right next to each other, but if you want to split it up by guards here and forwards there, you can do that, and you can still, if you want to play 5-on-5s, then just transport people. It's not that hard. But
Right. Or you could have all the 5-on-5s on one day at the end and make sure everybody shows
go
up.
through all the drills first. And
the same build.
But, I mean, I don't know. Guys that I'm, like, the only guy I can think of where it really helped his draft stock is Pat Connaughton. Because he was a guy that, like, at the vertical, I believe he led the NBA Combine that year in vertical.
Right. It was. I know it was like I think it was the max vertical. It wasn't the standing straight up because that was Diallo.
That was Diallo.
Diallo had the 44.5. Because I think like Vince Carter or somebody touched 50 or something like that, but it was running max vertical. And that's what Pat Connaughton.
Yeah, and so that boosted him from being a
borderline
undrafted late second round to early second round. I mean, he still hasn't played much, but.
And it must, from my experience of my own favorite team, the combine must have been where Thon Maker made a bunch of headlines because I remember sitting at the Bradley Center with Ben last year when they drafted him, and I just looked at him and I'm like, what is going on? Because
they said Bucks could be the guy that drafts Diallo too.
Oh my god!
Because
I am cutting you off.
Same story as Thon Maker.
They need more guys with an 8-foot wingspan and
supposedly he's a guard.
No.
That's what they say.
And, because everybody's
6'8" guard.
Because apparently everybody's Giannis now, right?
Everybody's
like everybody was LeBron. I'm done.
Okay, we're gonna have a fun game. I'm excited for this.
Okay.
So we've done who he played for.
Yep.
And it's been good, but I decided to mix it up. We're talking about we did a lot about NBA playoffs.
Yes, we did.
We've been talking a lot about it. So I thought, let's have a fun game here. Let's see who knows their history on NBA playoffs. So right here, I have the list of the top 50 playoff scorers of all time in the NBA.
Yeah.
You guys are going to go back and forth and guess. You will each get 2 strikes. So if you get one wrong, it's fine.
Yeah.
But if you get one wrong again, you're out.
Yeah.
And you also get... Oh, go ahead.
Is this individual game performances or total career?
All time career.
Okay.
And you get what if you want a hint, I can give you a hint on one player.
Okay.
And it's my player of choice.
Yeah.
So
we know the top 3 because that's been broadcasted all over.
Well, I mean, we'll go back and forth, but okay, I'm thinking of a number.
Yep.
What number am I thinking?
What's it between?
Oh, 1 through 10. 1 through 10.
1 through 10. I was like, 7.
5.
It was 1.
Oh,
so,
Brett.
LeBron.
Yes.
He's number 2, right?
He was number 2.
Yeah, MJ.
Number 1.
Kobe.
Number 4.
Kareem.
Number 3.
Bird.
Larry Bird. Number 10.
Ooh, he's down a little bit. Dr. J.
Dr. J is number 22. Ooh.
Getting closer to
me. Close.
I don't like it.
Bill Russell.
Bill Russell. He's on this list, but he's down.
Down there? I figured he had to be. He won 8 NBA titles.
Well, no, I know, but also like the problem is like with the guy like Dr. J who played in the ABA.
Bill Russell was number 33.
Ooh, Wilt.
Wilt the Stilts was he's on here. Number 18.
Tim Duncan.
Tim Duncan, number 6.
I'm trying to think of teams that have made the playoffs a lot. I'm going to go with Dirk.
Dirk Nowitzki, number 15.
Tony Parker.
Tony Parker, number 9.
Ooh.
Don't steal my third spur. I'm going to just throw them all out there.
I know. That's who I was going to really... I was honestly going to say. I'm trying to think of teams that have made guys that have been on a lot of playoff teams. Since he's won a ton of rings, I'm just going to throw Robert Horry out there.
No!
Oh! Strike
all right.
Scottie Pippen.
Scottie Pippen is number 16. Still got 3 in the top 10.
Patrick Ewing.
Patrick Ewing is on this list. Number 30.
Shaquille O'Neal.
Shaquille O'Neal, number 5.
How did we not say Shaq? Like, of all the guys.
Shaq and a Fool season finale is tonight, I believe, so.
Better tune in.
Make sure you tune into that. Isaiah Thomas, Bad Boys, Detroit Pistons.
Number 40.
Getting closer and closer.
Man.
I don't like it.
Manu.
Manu Ginobili, number 26.
Oh.
I really thought you were going to throw him out there.
Dominique?
No!
How's Dominique not a top 50 in the playoffs?
Dominique Wilkins is not on
You didn't
this
even
list.
use your hint before you got eliminated.
All right, so Brett, you win. Let's see how far you can go.
Okay. I lost momentum now.
That ended a lot quicker than I thought.
I got two for you that I know are probably on there. I figured Dominique was on there, but I can probably give you two.
I'm just trying to. Well, Steph Curry's not on there yet.
No.
He's not.
Now that I don't have to
Think Dream Team.
Oh, Magic.
Magic, number 14.
I'm gonna throw out. I'm not throwing him out. Clyde Drexler.
Clyde Drexler, number 25.
Clyde's on there, but Dominique's not on there. Come on, Dominique. You're killing me.
George Gervin.
No.
No.
Spurs did not make the playoffs a lot.
Hmm.
The Iceman.
Who do you have?
Stockton and Malone.
Yes, both of them. Malone, number 7. Stockton, number 38.
I don't think. I mean, the Bulls were just. I wouldn't think.
See, that's why I thought maybe Steve Kerr, but I don't know if Steve Kerr would be on there.
Steve Kerr is not.
Well, I didn't, and I don't know how many points did Rodman have.
Yeah, that I couldn't tell you. Rodman's probably not on there either.
Kevin McHale.
Kevin McHale, number 19.
Ooh. Pulling out the old
A lot of
Boston.
guys on your team.
Well, yeah,
here.
there's a lot of the
Lot of
Celtics
champions.
won the
Celtics.
championships.
A lot of Celtics.
Did you say Kareem already?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is technically NBA, but would Jerry West be a guy that's
Jerry
on
West, number 8.
the logo?
I already said Bill Russell, Kevin McHale. Oh, Paul Pierce.
Paul Pierce, number 20.
I mean, I don't know. Antoine Walker? No.
He's gonna throw out a bunch of random
Well,
Celtics guys.
he was on the.
I can tell you, there's a guy that's probably on there that played for Boston for like a cup of tea.
A lot of Celtics here.
For a cup of tea.
Yep, he won a title with Boston.
Oh, KG.
KG, number 34.
Ray Allen.
Ray Allen, number 32.
The guy that played with LeBron,
Still a couple currents on here.
like
Oh, Dwayne Wade.
there you go.
Dwayne Wade, number 11.
How'd you get eliminated twice and you didn't throw out Dwayne Wade?
Because I was thinking old time guys. I was trying to get the hard ones out of the way first.
No, you're not supposed to do it that way.
Roasting closer to
You gotta do the easy ones. Wow. Next, we're gonna do another one of these lists.
There's a guy that has a nickname, but that are his initials that I guarantee you is on there. Allen Iverson.
Allen Iverson, number 47.
Dang, I'm still kinda close.
Is Vince Carter on there?
No.
No.
Toronto was not very good.
Think of a
Not
team in the 2000s that won a finals.
there. Well, you got to think Spurs, Lakers,
Not multiple finals, just one.
I mean,
Detroit. So Chauncey, Rip, or Ben Wallace.
Chauncey, 36. Rip Hamilton, 35. There's one more on that team. Not Ben
Who
Wallace.
was the other guy that was on that team?
Keyshawn Prince.
Sheed, 39.
Who else has been?
All right.
Dwight? Is Dwight up there yet?
Dwight is not.
Not yet.
There are. Okay, I'll start throwing out some hints.
Okay.
2 guys on this team that's turned into a bit of a rivalry as of late.
As of late. 2 guys on the same team?
Formerly on the same team,
Only on the same team.
but now they're kind of
Oh,
rivals.
Westbrook and Durant?
There you go.
They're on there? Really?
Durant, 31. Westbrook, 43.
Wow.
Is that all the actives?
Let me see. That is all the actives.
Okay. I didn't know if Chris Paul might crack the bottom.
No.
Chris Paul,
Let's
the
see.
Hornets were awful.
Probably besides
Is Big
Shaq,
Dog on there?
Big Dog.
Glenn Robinson.
Besides Shaq, probably the best center of the 90s.
The Admirals? The Admiral?
Oh, the Admiral. There you go.
David
42.
Robinson. Was that the guy you were talking about?
No.
You said besides Shaq, the best what?
In my opinion, the best center of the 90s.
Oh, 90s, Hakeem.
There you go. Number 13. Probably the best shooter before Ray Allen.
Reggie Miller.
Reggie Miller, 24.
Now we're cruising. Now that Ben's giving hints, we're smooth sailing home.
This guy was Kobe's sidekick forever.
Derek Fisher.
Derek Fisher, 46. This guy was. Go ahead.
Steve Nash.
Number 50.
Hey.
This guy's son was on the list.
What?
His son was already on the top 50, and he is as well.
Oh. Who was a
father,
junior
son.
that we said?
Not a junior.
But I mean, like, who was a father-son combo? Kobe's dad didn't play in the NBA. I know he played overseas.
You'll pick yourself when.
This isn't a guy that's. This isn't that answer, but I'm going to throw Moses Malone out there.
That was it.
Oh, that was the father-son?
Yeah. Oh, did I say it wrong?
Isn't he's
Moses Malone and Karl Malone.
I didn't know Karl Malone was his son.
Oh,
I gotta look that up because I didn't know that.
Oh my goodness!
I just thought they had the same last name. They just.
No,
I
that's
did.
his son.
Are you sure?
I am like 95% sure.
All right, I'm gonna look this up. Brett, you can keep going.
Let's see. Team. Well,
Oh my goodness.
I don't think
Okay, this guy's on TV all the time.
on TV.
Chuck.
There you go.
Oh,
28. Man, still a lot of Celtics here. A lot of Celtics.
So let's go old school Celtics. You got Pistol Pete Maravich.
Pistol Pete
played
played for like a year with the Celtics.
Oh, that was it. Oh.
He was more. I think he was New Orleans.
This guy,
Um,
we're kind of running out of time, so.
old school. There's so many.
I mean, this guy was
Danny
the point.
Ainge.
No. This guy was the point guard during the. I don't know which era. I think it was the Bird era.
Point guard. Yeah, me.
Shoot. I think he played for the Hawks. Different guy.
Okay.
Um,
Played for the Hawks. Besides
old
Neek.
school. Old
Oh, so
school.
before Neek.
Yeah.
I can't think of
There's
any
one guy on the
old
list
school
like George Mikan era. Not George Mikan, obviously.
Right, yeah. I was just saying, George Mikan.
Probably was one of the greatest passers of all time.
I'm trying to think of the top guys in assists.
Well,
Oscar?
No, not Oscar. I'm trying to.
Jake Kidd, yeah, he's not on there.
Should I just? Okay, we're running out of
Yeah,
time.
just give it to us.
So at number 12, John Havlicek.
Oh,
Okay.
Number 17, Elgin Baylor. Number 21, Dennis Johnson. Number 23, James Worthy. Number 27, Sam Jones. Number 29, Robert Parrish. Number 37, Byron Scott. Number 41, Bob Pettit. Number 44, Elgin Hayes. Number 45, Gary Payton. And number 46, Jeff Hornacek.
I do want to just throw it out there that Karl Malone's father is named Shedrick Hay, by the way.
So it's not
Moses Malone.
See, I always thought that when I was a... All right. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
There's the lesson for today.
so what did we get? 40? 40 out of 50?
It was a good amount. Yeah,
That
it
went
went
better. I like that.
We're gonna do another top 50.
Yeah,
I'm gonna try that again. But thank you guys so much for watching. I wanted to do I have another bracket, but we're out of time.
All right.
But keep watching our draft review videos.
Yes.
We're throwing them out. We're going to do NBA draft videos eventually.
Yep.
As
we get closer to the draft, probably.
Right. This might be the last time we're in the studio, so
Yep.
bye studio, I guess.
Yeah.
Thanks for nothing. And,
Oh.
yeah, and have a great week.